Um, so the guys, police came down, got with my detectives. Um, they were able to find a location where one of the cars was used. It was out in north or south Fayette. Luckily, they had cameras going in the area. They went and viewed all the cameras about the time the car was used. We were able to get a plate on the car, ran a plate, and come back to one of our residents here. My guys drew up some search warrants. I went into the house and recovered probably everything that was taken out of every car. It was one of our local individuals that's done this before. This is the second or third time that we've arrested them. But most of the damage was done in Sewickley Heights, but luckily we were able to get everything back. Doesn't usually happen this way, but we were fortunate to get it back. We got a small amount of marijuana and a few other some paraphernalia from the house, but he's being charged. Most severe charges are coming from Sewickley Heights. Public intoxicant, we got a call, a gentleman laying in the yard. Individual just had too much to drink that day. We got him in the house, he's okay.
You weren't in my neighborhood, were you?
No, sir. Ordinance violation, this was a noise ordinance. Individuals they were having a party, it was a little bit loud. They turned the music down. Verizon does a lot of soliciting. They generally go into all the communities and they get the proper permitting, but sometimes they go over into other communities that they don't obtain permits for. In this case, they were from Verizon. They had permits for Sewickley, and they ended up in Aleppo. They did not come up to obtain permits or anything like that, so we sent them on their way and told them what they had to do. But they were okay. Someone had seen lights on at a new construction house. They checked it out and they found nothing. I did have an individual that was going door to door asking for donations via the fire department. We checked the fire department doesn't do this. After getting a description of the person, we think it may be the same person that we did a search on. Hopefully, he didn't say he did that, but nobody gave him any money and he went on his way after a couple of months. Wires and trees down, wires and poles down. This was a low hanging support wire at the intersection of Glenfield Line Road. Another tree down the hall, another tree down the hall. And property line dispute with the neighbor cutting the tree down, and the neighbor was set by claiming that would be a civil matter. They said they would handle it. Animal complaints, the dog complaint, and 6 dispatch was put 6 squirrel on somebody's yard. We do all kinds of squirrels, dogs, cats. What about Coldwood? That's okay. Another dangerous animal, it's a rooster. I don't make this stuff up, this could actually happen. Welfare check and another welfare check. These are generally people that don't hear from the loved one or someone in the family. Oftentimes it's an elderly person. We finally make contact with them. Most of the time they're either doctor's office or somewhere that they notify them. Family is computer, so it's so fun. That's.
Tell me more about the door-to-door solicitation issue.
What happens is they're you have an ordinance, as we all have ordinances on solicitation. You have to obtain a permit.
No, that's not the one I meant. I meant the one, not the Verizon one.
Oh, but this individual, they say a clipboard, and he was going and asking for donations to the fire department. And the fire department doesn't do that.
When was that?
7:29.
It was only reported once.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, they checked with the fire department, fire officers, they don't do that. That's why they think it may have been the person that we arrested for the breaking into the cars.
Why did they think that?
Well, from the description and just things that he's done in the past, leading towards legal suspects, sometimes you're right, sometimes not.
But that's not one of the charges against him.
That's-
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're on the subject of public safety. I hope everybody saw the video that one of Chief's men and I put together last week. It was distributed. I thought Corporal Koviak did a great job. I was really, really impressed with what he did. And thank you, Chief, for lending it to us. I was pleased with that. Fire department. I have a question as far as fire department goes. I was visiting my in-laws last week, and in their volunteer fire department, they just had a sign up front that was very proudly announcing that their ISO rating had gone up. I guess it had improved. I asked what that was, and I was told that the ISO rating relates to insurance companies' rating of your fire department, and if your volunteer fire department's rating improves, your homeowner's insurance rates can go down.
That is my understanding.
Do you know what the Aleppo Volunteer Fire Department's ISO rating
I
is?
don't know off the top of my head. We can find it.
I'd like to know that. Thanks. Okay, emergency management. Anything happening? Public Works.
We installed that stop sign on that street. My knowledge is that it's work with all the cap spaces, so and things out cap spaces ready for those lots. And on School Street, they were going place. And that's not around here. And we had a state law that's in the more extension. There. And, it's half base of the next side. All the stuff up there. And we did it. And on School Street, they extended the storm for pipeline cap space. And the Department of Revenue. Coming to have the road. So we extended out, going back on the side of the.
Sounds like a busy month.
Want to notify everybody of your leave of absence. Sure.
At the Farms 26, we're getting a knee replacement. So I'll be out for a while.
If it helps, my pool buddy got his knee replaced last Thursday, and I saw him doing a jig down the hall. Honest to God, he was moving right along. I went, hey, you're supposed to be saying ouch.
After surgery, they have to go on.
Yeah, right away.
So I think the important thing is talking to Tim and the other fellows, this is a good time of year for you to be absent.
Yeah. So, but that's why they kept putting it off because he was getting doctor. It just nothing did any better. I mean, it's not as nonsense. It's nothing worth doing.
Well, good luck.
Good luck. All right, our agenda has some motions under Public Works here.
I move to enter into a 3-year snow and ice agreement with Allegheny County.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
When, for those not present at the workshop, could you tell them?
We continuously enter into 3 years no experience with the county. We also do 5 years with the state, but this is 2. We get reimbursed for plowing and salting certain county roads within the township and slightly outside the township. But this is the contract that reimburses us as the county's formula per main mile. And Tom did review the contract and said that the roads that they are paying us for this 3-year period are accurate. They are the ones that he does. So it's just a renewal. It's a new contract, but it's a renewal of what we have been doing.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. That's number 1. Anybody see our second motion?
I move to seek bids for replacement of the storm sewer pipe along Swifty Ridge Drive.
Second.
Motion and a second. Once again, Gwen, can you give us a background? We called this on the recording, but
This is the pipe that had been previously authorized to get a pipe lining contractor. Once the camera got in there and realized that the pipe was too eroded to be lined, but it does need to be replaced. So this was seeking, telling this authorization would be telling the engineer to go out and seek bids for that work, to have a company come in and replace that segment.
and there's really no other choice at this point, right?
It's
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Last,
I move to approve a memorandum of understanding between Allegheny County Conservation District and Aleppo Township.
Second.
don't recall hearing about this one last week.
This is something from the County Conservation District. They've sent it to all the municipalities. Basically, what they are, it's an MOU that gives them most of the work. They are going to be notifying this and changing this. What we need to do is notify the county, have our engineer as part of the plan review process, notify the Conservation District so that the applicants can get proper ENS plans, erosion sedimentation plans.
I can give you a little background on that if you want.
Please.
Yeah, this became a problem really because for a while, the city of Pittsburgh, their planning commission was not making applicants apply for and receive NPD as permits on all of their developments in the state. And they counted on
NPDS.
National Pollution
It's a natural
Discharge.
pollutant, those are discharge elimination system permits. It's under the Clean Water Act.
Thank you.
And typically, when our planning commission would take an plant application, if we granted approval, it would always be subject to them filing and obtaining their permit from the Allegheny County Conservation District, okay? Well, a lot of municipalities made that a condition. The city, for whatever reason, wasn't doing it routinely. And so DEP found out that the Conservation District, which is their delegated agent for doing this in Allegheny County, they found out that the city wasn't. So they had a meeting, and as a result, they came up with this memorandum of understanding with all their municipalities that basically says that you will do certain things. For example, you will publish their regulations on your website, and you will make developers aware of their obligation to apply for and receive these particular permits through your planning process. It's a 30-day notice to terminate. It has no real downside to you financially, that they pay for everything, except for your cost of whatever you put up on your website. And it's a fairly innocuous obligation that you're undertaking, in exchange for which you do qualify for all the programs that the Conservation District offers and their grants and everything else. Not that I think you would make a lot of, well, I shouldn't say that. There are programs that they provide funding for that you might qualify for. For example, I just did some work for a small municipality that had some bad small dirt roads. And the Conservation District has started a new program for grant money to municipalities that want to upgrade or maintain their dirt roads, small roads and things like that. So they do offer a number of things. But I thought the background was that the city wasn't communicating to developers what the DEP wanted to have done. And so this was a way.
This basically facilitates the developer to be able to get, essentially qualify for a nationwide permit without having to get an individual permit issued by DEP. So it's a much more efficient and expeditious process, as long as the Conservation District just set up the parameters that the developers have to adhere to.
Okay. And by the way, like I said, it's for 30 days you're out. I mean, you can give 30 days notice, and if you don't like it or it's not to your liking, you don't have to do it.
Anybody else? I don't follow all this, and generally speaking, I don't vote in favor of things that I couldn't explain to a neighbor if they came up to me tomorrow and said, what is this? So I'm going to vote no, but I'm not encouraging anybody else to vote no. I just can't, because I don't want to spend time to ask Dan and
It's a matter of
Harlan those questions. I'm not going to vote no. But again, it's not that I think it's a bad thing. I just don't.
You know what you vote, President.
I can't.
One of our senators did.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. No. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Communications. No, I don't have any report with communications today. Planning and zoning. Tax collector.
Good evening, everybody. Give your report for the tax collection for the month of July. I have everything here in front of you. So total taxes collected for the month of July was $18,606.05. You go through all the ending account balances. Your total monies on hand is $1,611,649.32. If you subtract out the pledged funds and targeted funds, you get a net operating funds of $1,449,142.02. And then you also see the sewer bond, the debt fund, and also the repairs fund. And so then on the second page, you can kind of see the year-to-date total as opposed to the budget, the over-under amounts for the tax collection portion. The next two pages are the graphs, which again, we did a month comparison. So we're comparing July of 2016 to July of 2015. You can kind of see some of the differences there. The next graph down is the 2016 year-to-date budget. Where we stand, which is also on that other sheet as well. It's now in graphic form for you to view. The last page is where we stood in year 2015, year-to-date budget. And then the very last graph is the year-to-date 2016 compared to year-to-date 2015. I don't know if you remember from last month, there was a discrepancy in that I had calculated the 2015 year-to-date as a full year, so I ended up making an adjustment. I gave Glenn a copy of that updated report, so that should be there. If you do need a copy of it, let me know. I'll be more than happy to send it to you, or you can get it from Glenn. But that's kind of where we stand with the taxes and the treasurer's report.
Did anything catch your eye?
And how are you doing? Yeah,
Again, I want to say how easy this is to read and to understand.
visuals always help, and
This is good.
we have a lot of numbers. So. And I think, from what I can tell, what I can see right now, only being in 8 months or whatever, you're pretty much on target for where you have been in the past. So,
Well, the obvious question is the July 15 versus 16 property tax. We talked about that last time.
did not.
Why is it
I don't know why we only collected about $2,900, and last year we collected $13,000.
Anybody have any guesses?
That's just a fact that came in.
That's, yeah, that's.
How many people paying their tax bill?
On property tax?
The mortgage company might have.
Not
Release
everyone has their taxes in their mortgage.
Yeah, but, you know, different.
Oh, really?
If you don't have a mortgage, you don't have your taxes come out of the mortgage, so yeah.
But you can see from page 2, we collected almost $6,000 projected property tax if you go up to the first line.
Yeah.
And we still have 6 months
Yeah,
to
I
go,
agree.
5 months to go.
All right,
It's easier.
Thanks.
Yep.
So have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, under finance, we have a motion for our bills. Who wants to read it?
I make a motion to approve July bill list in the amount of $46,064.08.
Second. We can do all three of them.
July prepaid bills in the amount of $21,552.42. And to ratify July payroll transfers in the amount of $16,700.52.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next. Motion. Somebody.
I move to adopt the Aleppo Township Financial Management Policy.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We've talked about this quite a bit. Nobody has any questions? All right.
I think Gwen
Maybe the change
clarified
we talked
one.
about last week. right?
Yeah,
I did,
Would you-
I took out one of the options was, to allow, as part of the policy, allow commissioners to accept payments on behalf of the township, and no commissioner wanted that. They wanted to keep all the payments
Right.
coming into the administrative office. So we took that out. That's an option.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Any opposed, say no. Aleppo Township Authority.
Nothing really new, except we did have a meeting with the authority engineer, and a number of things came out of that, particularly an agreement that we all would like to communicate better and more often, which I resoundingly applauded. And he has also fulfilled a request where I asked for what methods of measurement he normally uses for the waters and so on and so forth. And he has given us a definition of that. I believe you all got a copy of it. That was simply to make sure that we were all speaking the same words rather than get into a discussion long concluded, because may not necessarily be stating the same thing. So that was the purpose in that communications. And then just today, he fulfilled a request where we had a discussion on the amount of monies being paid out to the engineering firm to do administrative tasks for the authority. He felt that was quite high, and the numbers that he gave me today, the total compensation for tasks that he does that are not strictly engineering tasks. In other words, they're administrative or clerical. And that's around $10,000.
Per what?
Year.
Okay.
That's why I asked
I said per what? Per year?
Per year.
per year. Yeah. But that's why I asked. So we're going to be
How do
looking.
you fix that?
Hmm?
How do you fix that?
That's going to take a little while, but it'll be managed. I mean, we could do it with a sledgehammer, but it wouldn't hold. I think it's simply changing processes and procedures with people, if you're going to have them hold and not have to go back and do it 3 times, it does take a little while.
I know you all had a conversation last week about the vacancy, and there was discussion about posting that. Has that been posted yet, Glenn?
It hasn't been posted on the website, but the ad has gone in.
The ad has gone. Did you get a
And then-
response?
The ad is gone.
The ad has gone in, it's been submitted, and the deadline in the ad was September 7, 8, or 9, I can't remember which one I picked, so it was a couple days before the September workshop. So.
Has it run? Has the ad run?
It has been submitted, it may be in this, it's gonna be in this Thursday's paper.
I got you. Okay, so I take it you've heard no response?
I don't think anybody's seen it yet. I mean, we have the one candidate that we know has expressed an interest.
Okay. Anything else on the authority?
No.
COG, there has been an offer made to the candidate for executive director. It's not been accepted yet. From what I understand, they are still in negotiations, and we have a meeting on Wednesday, and the deadline for that candidate to either accept or reject the offer is before Wednesday. So hopefully at this time next month, we'll have a new COG executive director. Ambulance Authority.
There was a meeting at the end of the month of July. They continue to be in the black. And the big news is MC Nash. I don't know if anybody knows her here. Is retiring. And that's a pretty big blow, I think, to the ambulance authority. Because she does a lot of education, a lot of CPR training. And she's from Heritage Valley, but she's very active. I don't really know her personally, but anyway, there's a big retirement party.
She was very instrumental in getting AEDs for all the police departments and doing all the training. And
Yeah, she's done a lot.
With us and AEDs.
Yeah,
Is she a resident of Aleppo? She is, right?
yeah. I think, does she live in the manor?
She does.
Yes.
Does, yeah.
All right, anything else on the ambulance authority? Sewer project, anything to say?
No, would you like this to remain on the agenda?
No.
Okay.
MS4?
We have received, approval from the COG to spend the money to run the ad that's going to be in the paper. And that is the public outreach, that's what we're working on through the COG, so that the different communities can use the public outreach through there as, to piggyback on that, as our public outreach. And then the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission is offering a lot of upcoming courses on MS4 that are aimed at the administration to try to figure out how we meet all the things we need to do. So, and they're free classes, so I'm going to sign up for several of these training sessions.
That's exciting. Harlan?
I have 2 items for executive session, and I'll hold those.
Unfinished business.
I have, just want to confirm that you want me to run the ad stating that we're moving the workshop to Masonic. We're all set, ready? Yeah, okay. That'll be next month's workshop meeting.
Monday night.
Monday night. We were again keeping the Monday night is our traditional workshop date, and I'm working with Carrie, Eric's assistant, to get the room. for what we need.
So I'll have a shorter commute.
You will.
Okay.
No bingo.
No bingo. Bingo will be moved, I would guess.
Any other unfinished business? New business? Once, twice? All right, let's go through our action items. Glenn and George, tell us where we stand on pension analysis.
Glenn, you want to give an update on that?
I spoke to the people at Pliget/PFM, I think it is, and they let us know basically that our pension plans are pretty small. Actually, they're very small. And so they don't know a lot of people that want to take on an analysis of what we have and try to work out some kind of deal. So They gave us one recommendation that ADP does small group pensions, so they can talk about that. I went to a pension session last week down at Station Square, put on by the people that our non-uniform police, or not the police, the non-uniform pensions in. And they gave me just in some conversations, some tips and stuff, so I'm gonna meet with George and go over some of that, what they educated me on. And I think George and I are going to meet to talk about ways that we can, the whole point of this was to try to take the authority pension and the township pension, and they can't be combined, but at least make them similar, because we have different kinds of plans. So we're working to try to make things similar on both sides of the hall. So we're still working on it.
Okay. Industrial park occupancy. Take it we have no report. Go on, Tim.
I don't think,
Do you want this to stay on here
Yes.
as an action item? Okay.
yeah, in particular, I'd like to have the gentleman, if he has the time, and
I'll-
has something to tell us,
Yeah.
to come in and visit us.
Okay.
And, you know, primarily, I want to be able to give him an idea or figure out what we can do, if anything, to make sure that we get the best kind of clients in there.
Wasn't the idea that he was going to come visit us? We were going to invite him.
It was, I did invite him, and we're still coordinating schedules, so we're not sure.
Gotcha.
It's not off the table.
Glen Mitchell Road cleanup. Did our inspector go
He
down
did,
there?
he did go down there, and there's still stuff down there.
I see.
Less
I,
than before.
perhaps, maybe in better piles.
Okay, okay.
I think it seems like something is happening.
Did he find any ordinance violations?
Not really. He has to be careful, because if when there are properties that are gated properties and they are private properties, if you can't see it from the road,
Uh-huh.
he has to be careful about where he can and can't go. And it applies to residential properties also. He's not allowed to just go climbing in your yard and poking under your deck around the back of your house. So he has to be careful about how he enters. He has rules that he has to follow about how he enters a property and what is clearly visible from the road. So he's trying to follow those.
Okay. So what's the next step? We're just,
The next step is, I would guess, is just, they had said by September, so maybe we'll see if,
what's our remedy if September comes and we still have neat piles of the same nonsense? What is the next step?
Well, you've got a code,
Yeah,
and your residents have to follow the code.
yeah.
And if they don't, you have a enforcement officer who cites the violator.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I mean, there are some other things you can do now that I think about it. You can file a nuisance action.
Wait, let's take them one at a time though, before we get into that.
Yeah.
Because we're hearing that our code enforcement officer's been there and didn't see an ordinance violation.
I don't know that he actually addressed the ordinance violation. He just went at our direction to go and just observe the site.
I see.
So,
Well, if you
And-
can't
and there's-
observe a
there's-
violation,
There's limitations of where he can go.
Sure, I get
He
that.
doesn't be charged as a trespasser.
I get that. But how's that going to change in September?
Leaves will start falling off the trees and we'll be able to see what's going on.
I see. Okay.
you could file a civil case and ask for an injunction, but I mean, that's a very expensive way to enforce your code.
Okay.
Can be done.
Selling old stop signs for scrap steel.
Well, I mean, is everybody else here comfortable just waiting until September and seeing what they do?
Well,
Given the
I
alternative.
guess we
yes.
should ask him
Okay.
to look at it from the
Question, right?
standpoint of the
Yeah.
code violation. If he
Don't
didn't,
Spend a bunch of money.
if he didn't vocalize anything to you about a violation, and you don't think that he was looking for a violation, he was looking as an observer, I would like to know whether he saw anything that he thought might be a violation. Then we can wait for the leaves to fall off the tree.
But are there permits required for this? I mean, is there both an evaluation of a paper trail and a visual inspection?
permits for what?
for whatever they're doing.
Well,
It's
they're-
storage.
They're claiming it's storage, not waste disposal, so.
Okay.
It's a tough raft to beat.
As long as there's progress, I think we wait.
But I share Commissioner Williams' thought, because I thought he was going down to look for code violations.
If he
And I-
is, he has to stand on the street and do it,
I
and
get
you
that.
can't see
And if
it.
you can't see it, that's different
Okay.
than I wasn't looking for code violations.
So that answers my question.
Yeah.
More or less,
Yeah, like,
Sort of-
yes,
sort of, kinda,
analysis, yeah,
sort of, kinda.
sort of.
When the leaves fall off the trees, it'll be easier to see. I got you. Okay, fair enough. All right, citizen participation. All right, we will go into an executive session at 7:39 PM for the purposes of discussing litigation.
Correct.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.